George was nearly 20 years older than his wife Emily, and he considered their marriage to be a success in every way. She was still a student, beautiful and intelligent, and their sex life was passionate enough to make him forget about other women entirely. His friends envied him for having such a young and flexible wife who could satisfy any man's desires. One night, as they lay in bed, Emily suddenly asked, "What would you do if you found out I'd cheated on you?" "I'd kill you," George replied without hesitation. He didn't want to discuss the topic further, but the question lingered in his mind, making him more observant of his wife's behavior. He found no traces of another man, but he did notice something peculiar about Emily's behavior. Sometimes she would pounce on him as soon as he walked in the door, pulling him down onto the fluffy carpet in the entryway. On those occasions, George was happy, and thoughts of infidelity faded away. But there were also days when he would spend an hour caressing her, only to be met with her lethargic response. To put his doubts to rest, George hired a private detective to tail Emily and report back on where, when, and with whom she was meeting other men. A week later, the detective's findings left George reeling. Emily skipped her classes twice to find secluded spots in the park and have sex with random men, the detective revealed. The first time she openly seduced an elderly man out for a stroll. She took a condom from her purse and put it on his not yet erect penis, then proceeded to stimulate him. The second time there were 4 men, despite a heavy downpour and thunderstorm. Emily approached strangers without hesitation and offered them sex. No man could refuse such an offer. The encounters lasted from a minute to 5 minutes each. George examined the photographs of his wife engaging in quick sexual encounters with disgust. All the men had their pants pulled down to the same extent, positioned from behind like dogs, and Emily, it seemed, wasn't wearing any underwear, just a short skirt and a rain-soaked blouse. That night, George didn't come home, ignoring his wife's calls. The next morning he showed up and suggested they initiate divorce proceedings. A tearful Emily agreed, but asked for one last request to find a doctor. She confessed that during rainy weather, especially thunderstorms, she craved sex to the point of madness. The previous summer, when they had just started dating, she would come to his office in such a state, but now he was always busy, and she couldn't bear the frustration. To hide her condition, Emily had resorted to having sex with strangers, always using protection and never revealing any personal information. And if, by chance, George happened to be home during a thunderstorm, it was like a holiday for her. George was taken aback by his wife's confession. He had expected lies, excuses, or accusations, but everything Emily said rang true. Indeed, she had cheated on him during rainy weather, especially during thunderstorms, calling him at work and pleading to meet in the car for just 5 minutes because she needed sex so badly. The doctor George consulted explained that Emily's behavior was due to a disorder of her nervous system. Changes in the weather, particularly rain and thunderstorms, caused a drop in atmospheric pressure and produced infrasonic vibrations that triggered a temporary state of nymphomania. During these episodes, Emily lost self-control, and her sexual desire became so intense that she couldn't restrain herself. Similar cases had been documented by sexopathologists and psychoneurologists in individuals with heightened sensitivity to weather changes. The doctor advised George to be more understanding of Emily's condition. What the photographs depicted couldn't be considered true infidelity. She was simply using these men as a form of medication. George dropped the idea of divorce. After Emily completed her treatment, the doctor recommended that the couple pay close attention to weather forecasts and avoid leaving Emily alone during thunderstorms, as her desire for sex would remain intense, even if she could now control her urges. In extreme cases, she could use the sex toys they had specially purchased for her. But the best remedy will certainly be your own husband, especially since he and these periods of supersexuality of the wife will bring a lot of pleasure.